Hello students. So today we are going to start chapter 17, Stars and the Solar System. Let's warm up. Label the 8 planets of the solar system. Let's know about the moon, the stars, constellations, the solar system, other celestial bodies, artificial satellites. When we look at the sky on a clear night, we see a large number of specks of twinkling light spread all over. These twinkling specks are called stars. There are some other shining objects in the sky, such as planets, the moon, and comets, which do not twinkle. For example, the moon seems to be the brightest object in the sky. In reality, it does not have a light of its own. It shines because it reflects the sunlight falling on its surface. What difference do you see in the sky during the day? During the day, you see the sun. In the bright light of the sun, all other objects fade away. All the objects in the sky, the sun, stars, planets, the moon, and other objects are called celestial objects. The moon. The moon appears in the sky at night. It rises in the west, but its shape keeps changing every night. On the full moon day, the whole disk of the moon is visible, but from the next day, its size changes every night. It becomes thinner and thinner. On the 15th day, the moon is not visible. This day is called the new moon day. The next day, only a small portion of the moon appears in the sky. This is known as the crescent moon. Then again, the moon grows larger every day. On the 15th day, once again, we get a full view of the moon. The bright part of the moon shows itself in the various shapes during a month. They are called phases of moon. The visibility of the moon is caused by sun rays falling on it and getting reflected. The moon does not produce its own light, unlike the sun and other stars. So we see only that part of the moon from which the light of the sun is reflected towards us. The moon revolves around the earth. The earth along with the moon revolves around the sun. Look at this figure given below. Position of the moon in the orbit and its corresponding phases. The figure shows the various positions of the moon in its orbit, path round the earth, and its corresponding phases. We can see in the figure that the size of the illuminated part of the moon visible from the earth increases each day after the new moon day. After the full moon day, the sunlit part of the moon visible from the earth decreases in size every day. The moon completes one rotation on its axis as it completes one revolution around the sun, the moon's surface. The moon's surface on July 21, 1969, Indian time, the American astronaut Neil Armstrong landed on the moon for the first time. He was followed by Edwin Aldrin. The astronauts who landed on moon found its surface to be dusty and barren. There are many craters of different sizes on the moon's surface. It also has a large number of steep and high mountains. Some of the mountains are as high as Mount Everest. The moon has no atmosphere, it has no water. Naturally, no evidence of life has been found on the moon. Look at this picture. Surface of the moon. The stars. The celestial objects in the sky which twinkle are stars. All stars twinkle, but all are not equally bright. All are not the same color. Stars emit light of their own, like the sun, which is also a star. Being comparatively closer to the earth, it appears so big. The stars are millions of times farther away than the sun. They look like just points in the sky. Do you know? The sun is the nearest star. The next nearest star is Alpha Centauri. Though the stars are seen only at night, they are present in the sky during daytime also. Bright sunlight affects their visibility to us. The stars change their position in the sky. They appear to move from east to west. A star seen in the evening in the east sets in the west in the early morning. The rotation of the earth on its axis is behind the change in the position of a star. The Earth is moving in opposite direction, that is from west to east. The pole star is, however, one star in the sky which does not change its position. This is because the pole star is situated in the direction of the Earth's axis. Look at this picture here. The pole star lies close to the axis of rotation of the Earth. Constellation. These pictures are the pictures of two great constellations, A. Great Bear, second B. Orion. Look at these pictures. These are the pictures of Cassiopeia, Leo Major. Some constellations lit in the night sky. Some stars in the sky seem to be in a group with a specific shape. Look at the figure above. The stars forming a group that has a recognizable shape is called constellation. A constellation does not have only 5 to 10 stars, it has a large number of stars as shown in the figure. However, we can only see the bright star in a constellation with our naked eye. All the stars that form a constellation are not equidistant, they are just in the same line of sight in the sky. Ancient people used to devise constellations to recognize stars in the sky. Constellations are live formations made of a few stars. The formations looked like objects familiar to people. One of the most famous constellations seen during the summer time in the early part of the evening is Ursa Major. It is also known as the Great Bear or Saptarishi. There are 7 prominent stars in this constellation. The constellation of stars does not change shape and shifts position without a break. The constellation appears to move in the sky from east to west. Orion is another well-known constellation that is visible during winter in the late evenings. It is one of the most magnificent constellations in the sky. It has 7 or 8 bright stars. Orion is also called the Hunter. The 3 middle stars represent the belt of the Hunter. The 4 bright stars appear to be arranged in the form of a quadrilateral. Cassiopeia is another prominent constellation in the northern sky. It can be seen during winter in the early part of the night. It is shaped like a distorted letter W or M. The solar system. The solar system is formed of the sun and the celestial bodies revolving around it. It is formed of heavenly bodies such as planets, comets, asteroids, and meteors. Gravitational attraction between the sun and the celestial bodies keeps the bodies revolving around it. The earth also revolves around the sun. It is a planet of the solar system. There are 7 other planets that revolve around the sun. The 8 planets in their order of distance from the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Look at this image here. This is the image of the solar system. It shows a schematic view of the solar system. The sun is at the center of the solar system. It is the nearest star from the earth. It is continuously emitting huge amount of heat and light. It is the primary source of energy on the earth. For all the planets of the solar system, it is the main source of heat and light. The planets. In the sky, planets look like stars, but they are not. They do not have light of their own as stars have. They shine by the light received from the sun. This light gets reflected and makes them visible. The planets revolve around the sun in their respective orbits. That is, the paths in which they revolve around the sun. A planet takes a definite time to go round the sun once. This is called period of revolution. Planets closer to the sun have a shorter period of revolution as compared to planets far away. Planets also rotate on their axis. The time taken by a planet to complete one rotation is called period of rotation. Some planets have satellites or moons revolving around them. Any celestial body revolving around another celestial body is called satellite. Look at this picture here. The planets of the solar system. Now let us study each planet one by one. First start with Mercury. Mercury is the planet nearest to the Sun. It is the smallest planet of the solar system. Before it, Pluto was the smallest planet. It revolves round the Sun in 88 days. It takes the shortest time to make one revolution round the Sun. 1 day of Mercury is equivalent to 90 days of the Earth. Mercury has no satellite. Venus. In distance, it stands second from the Sun. It completes one revolution round the Sun in 225 days. It is the most shiny and hot planet of the solar system. It is also known as morning star and the evening star. It is the nearest planet to the Earth. In shape, density and diameter, it is like the Earth, so it is known by the name twin Earth. Unlike the other planets, it rotates from east to west and anti-clockwise. Venus does not have a moon, satellite, Earth. The Earth is the only planet where life exists. Some special environmental conditions are responsible for the existence and continuation of life on the Earth. This include just the right distance from the Sun so that it has the right temperature range, the presence of water and suitable atmosphere, and a blanket of ozone. Due to the reflection of light from water and landmass on its surface, the Earth appears blue-green from space. The axis of rotation of the Earth is not perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. The tilt is responsible for the change of season on the Earth. The Earth has only one moon, Mars. It is the fourth planet in terms of distance from the Sun. In size, it is the seventh planet of the solar system. It revolves round the Sun in 687 days. It is also called the red planet. Its redness is due to the excess of iron oxide present on it. The highest mountain on Mars is Nix Olympia. Olympus Mons is a volcanic mountain on Mars. It is the biggest volcanic mountain of solar system. Mars has two satellites, Phobos and Deimos. Jupiter. It is the biggest and heaviest planet of the solar system. It is the fifth planet in terms of distance from the Sun. It completes one revolution around the Sun in 11.86 years. On its axis, it rotates in the least time, 9 hours 55 minutes. It has 16 satellites. After Saturn, it is Jupiter which has the highest number of satellites. The biggest satellite of Jupiter is Ganymede, which is also the biggest satellite of the solar system. Saturn. It is the second biggest planet of solar system. In terms of distance from the Sun, it is the sixth planet. It makes one revolution round the Sun in 29.46 years. It has the highest number of satellites, 62 satellites in the solar system. The biggest satellite of Saturn is Titan, which is almost the size of Mercury. Now, one of its satellites, Phoebe, revolves in opposite direction of the rotation of Saturn on its axis. There is a ring around Saturn. Saturn is also called a ball of gas, globe of gases. Uranus. It is the seventh planet in terms of distance from the Sun. In terms of size, it is the third biggest planet. It makes one revolution round the Sun in 84 years. Unlike the other planets, it revolves around the Sun from east to west. So sunrise on Uranus in the west and sunset in the east. On account of its axis inclination on its axis, it is called the reclining planet. It has around 27 satellites. The biggest satellite of Uranus is Titania and the smallest is Cordelia. Neptune. In terms of distance from the Sun, it is the 8th planet in size. It is the 4th biggest planet. Because Pluto is no longer confined as planet now, Neptune is the farthest planet from the Sun. Neptune revolves round the Sun once in 166 years. There is a preponderance of methane in the atmosphere of this planet. That is why it looks green. Neptune has 8 satellites. The biggest is Triton. Other celestial bodies. Besides the planet, there are some other celestial bodies which revolve around the sun. These celestial bodies also belong to the solar system. Let us study them. Asteroids. Asteroids are large rocky pieces that orbit the sun between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. This region is called asteroid belt. The diameter of an asteroid can go up to about 1000 kilometers. Some astronomers believe that asteroids were formed when our solar system was formed, while others believe that they are part of a planet that was broken up due to a massive collision. Look at this picture here. This is asteroid belt. Comets. Another celestial body called comet has bright head with a long tail. The comet too revolves around the sun. The length of its tail grows in size as it approaches the sun. The comet revolves in highly elliptical orbit. Its tail is always directed away from the sun. Many comets appeared in fixed times. For instance, Halley's comet appears after nearly every 76 years. It was last seen in 1986 and is expected to visit again in 2061. Look at this picture here. These are the different positions of a comet, meteors and meteoroids. Sometimes we see at night the bright streaks of light in the sky. People call them shooting stars, but they are not stars. They are called meteors. A meteor is usually a small object that occasionally enters the Earth's atmosphere. Frictions here with atmosphere makes it heat up. It glows and evaporates quickly. The bright streak dies down in no time. Some meteors are large and so they can reach the Earth before they die away completely. The body that reaches the Earth is called meteoroid. Meteoroids help scientists in investigating the nature of the material from which the solar system was formed. Look at this picture here. This is the picture of streak of a meteor. Do you know? Halley's comet was named after Edmund Halley, an English astronomer and mathematician. The Earth is the only planet where life exists. Some special environmental conditions are responsible for the existence of continuation of life on the Earth. These include just the right distance from the sun so that it has the right temperature, range, and the presence of water in suitable atmosphere and a blanket of ozone. Due to the reflection of light from water and landmass on its surface, the Earth appears blue-green from space. The axis of rotation of the Earth is not perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. The tilt is responsible for the change of seasons on the Earth. The Earth has only one moon. Artificial satellites. Artificial satellites are man-made objects which revolve around the Earth for specific purposes. Their orbits are much closer to the Earth than the orbit of the Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. Some of the major areas where artificial satellites are of great importance are number 1, scientific research, number 2, weather forecasting, number 3, communication, number 4, navigation, and number 5, military purposes. Scientific satellites are used to detect the energy from the sun, the changes in the ozone layer, the atmosphere around Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. Second, the weather satellites. They are used by meteorologists to gather information regarding the weather across clouds. These satellites furnish advanced information of weather and save human beings from natural calamities caused due to erratic weather. Third, communication satellites. Communication satellites from a certain place on the Earth remain active to connect any signal with the radio or television. Number 4, navigational satellites. Navigational satellites perform the task of guiding the sailor's direction on sea by explaining the course of the deep sea water through radio messages by keeping them well connected with the headquarters. Number 5, military satellites. Military satellites are used in military departments for coordinating, communication, and accurate mapping. Look at this picture. This is the picture of an artificial satellite. through the pictures provided by these satellites and launching satellites providing satellites launching vehicles or rockets. The Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite Sputnik first in 1957, and about 40 other countries have developed, launched and operated satellites. Today about 3,000 useful satellites and 6,000 pieces of space junk are orbiting around the earth. Number 1. Aryabhatta, India's first indigenously built satellite. Number 2. Bhaskar first experimental remote sensing satellite built in India. Number 3. Rohini RS-1, first satellite successfully launched by the Indigenous Launch Vehicle SLV. Number 4. Cartosat 2B, it is an Earth observation satellite. Number 5. GSAT-4, it is a geostationary satellite. Number 6. INSAT 3B, ISRO built satellite to serve all the businesses, mobile and developmental communication. Number 7. GHRCES at GHRCE, an engineering college in Maharashtra, has succeeded in building a slim satellite and ground station for its monitoring on experimental basis. Now, on the basis of the chapter we have read above, let's fill this check and mate and write all the true and false by yourself. And now we are going to summarize the chapter in a nutshell. First, the phases of the moon occur because we can see only that part of the moon which reflects the light of the sun towards us. Stars are celestial bodies that emit light of their own. Our sun is also a star. It is convenient to express distances of stars in light years. Stars appear to move from east to west. Constellations are group of stars that appear to form recognizable shapes. The solar system consists of 8 planets and a host of asteroids, comets and meteors. A body revolving around another body is called a satellite. Moon is the natural satellite of the Earth. Some planets also have natural satellites. Venus is the brightest planet in the night sky. Artificial satellites are used for weather forecasting, long distance communication and remote sensing. There are some keywords. Asteroids, a large number of small bodies revolving around the sun. Cassiopeia, a constellation, celestial object, all bodies in the sky. Comets, a celestial body revolving around the sun having a bright head and long tail. Constellation, groups. Light year, a unit to measure the distance between heavenly bodies. Meteors, bright streaks of light seen at night for some time. Meteoroids, meteors that enter the earth. Natural satellite, heavenly bodies that revolve round the planet. Artificial satellites, man-made satellites launched from the earth. Thank you class. Now we are going to meet in the next class.